Good evening, YouTube. How you doing? I'm going to talk about driving miles tonight because I'm annoyed. Yeah, I know, I'm always annoyed. Isn't that why you watch this? To hear me ramble on about something I'm annoyed about? Oh, I'm going to talk tonight about paid miles versus actual miles driven. I said I think it was yesterday, about how they use some Rand McNally program to figure out what paid miles are. And, you know, how I believe that glare is bothering me. Okay, you can see my face, kinda. And not so much lens flare. Looks like a damn J.J. Abrams film here. Lens flares everywhere. I honestly, I don't pay for fuel. I don't mind the fact that paid miles and actual miles driven it never adds up. It's never the same. Usually about 30 or 40 miles extra. You know, I usually give it about 45 minutes to an hour extra, you know, than the paid miles to figure out an ETA. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Well, we'll just continue J.J. Abrams style. And like I said, I do not mind driving the extra miles. But when you base your ETA on when you're going to get somewhere off of a 350 some odd mile load, and then you punch the place into the Qualcomm and you're driving 440 miles, yeah, I'm going to be a little late tomorrow. Why? Because I based my ETA and said, yes, I can make it based on the fact that it was 350 miles. And then I picked up the load and Qualcomm said, you're going 440. Why? Because apparently between Des Moines and St. Louis there is no straight path. I knew that. However, going 80 to 74, then down south on 55, which goes south and west. So I went east on 80 to 74 east. Then outside of Peoria, I caught 155 south, and then 55, which, like I said, curves gently to the west as it goes on. It's down to St. Louis. 440 miles. I'm going to be late again. If I was a machine and never stopped except for my 30-minute break, I'd make these ETAs. I think that's what they want. They want people not to meet the ETAs, and, you know, eventually they'll replace us all with robots that drive. And at that point, I'll stop making long trips because I don't trust those driving robots. The adaptive cruise control that will slow you down based on how fast the person in front of you is going is stupid and unreliable. If I relied on it alone, I would have rammed into several cars. Or been going 30 miles an hour behind somebody. Because it's too stupid to figure out, hey, you can pass. You don't have to slow down this far. The collision detection keeps saying I'm going to run into street signs and shit that clear me easily. These technologies will get better in time. I mean, they can't not get better. There's so much room for improvement that they can't not get better. But at this time, I wouldn't trust a self-driving car unless it had a manual override. I wouldn't ride in it. And I'd probably manually override it and drive it myself. But yeah, an extra 90 miles more than what I'm getting paid. Which, again, I don't mind the extra miles except the extra time it takes to go those miles. Another thing I'm thinking about, I'm sure those of you with Facebook have seen that, people you may know or recommended friends. Today Keith popped up. Keith Venable, my driver manager, whatever you want to call him. As a suggested, someone I know is, for Facebook. How Facebook knows that I know him, I have no fucking clue. I really can't even begin to guess. I've never interacted with him on Facebook or Messenger. I did text him once. He texted me and I texted him, so I've got his cell phone number saved. And that might be it. That might be going through my contacts and saying, oh, hey, this person matches this person. I think you know him. Some scary shit. I really don't like the thought of that. But we've given up our privacy for social media. Nobody's got any privacy anymore. The NSA admits to tapping our phones and listening to our conversations, and nobody gives a shit. The most common thing I hear when I complain about that is, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you don't have anything to hide. Not the point at all. It's not about whether I'm doing right or wrong. It's fucking privacy. You've got no point poking into somebody else's life unless invited. Anne McCaffrey wrote a good book, Crystal Singer. And if someone, in that book, it's an advanced sci-fi culture. And in that book, if someone pries too deeply into your personal business, you simply say privacy and they back off. That's it. That's all. Someone listening into your phone calls and, going through your computers automatically like the NSA does, that culture would have been outraged. They would have revolted over it. But the sheep of America is like, okay, fine. If you're not doing anything wrong, it doesn't matter. No, it matters. But that's not my point. A lot of the science fiction books I read, and I read a lot, and I listen to a lot nowadays, they've got hidden meanings. They when I read them when I was younger, it was just a good story. Crystal Singer was a good story about someone who failed as a singer and became a crystal singer. She might not have been able to sing in front of crowds, but she made millions of credits singing. You'd have to read it to understand it. That they have to mine these special crystals by striking a note, a pure note, and tuning a sonic cutter to that. That's not what I'm talking about, though. It's a good story. And book 2 and 3 of that series were even better. Unfortunately, Anne McCaffrey's dead now, and there will never be any more Crystal Singer books. Even though her son is also an author and tried to continue her Dragons of Pern series. From what I've heard, I haven't read anything that he wrote, even though he still tacks his mom's name on everything. He's just not good and completely perverted the original themes of, triumph in the face of adversity that she, went on about in this series. Crap, I lost my train of thought. I'm not sure what point I was trying to make, but I'm going to be late again, and it's because I'm going 90 extra miles than what they are paying me. It's not the extra miles I mind, it's the extra time it takes to drive them. Anyways, YouTube, I'm tired. I got to get up at 4:45 in the morning, so I love you. Talk to you later.